how to do a finger roll. So there are going to be times, typically when we're playing arpeggios, among other things, where we're going to have a number of notes that are on the same fret. And the quickest way to play them is going to be with the same finger. So let's imagine that I have an A minor arpeggio and it's 5, 5, 5, 8. To play 5, 5, 5 here, it's not going to be very efficient for me to go 5, 5, 5, or to use different fingers. 5, 5, 5. But if I just use one finger, bar it and hold it down, you can hear that now the notes are running into one another. So this might be okay with an acoustic guitar. The sound is quite pleasant, but I may not always want the notes to run into one another. And if we have an electric guitar and it's plugged in and we have some distortion, that's going to sound really, really bad. The sounds are going to bleed. So how do we get past that? We do a finger roll. So if you have two notes that you want to roll your finger over, you're going to go on the tip for the first note, and then you're going to go on the flat for the second note. And if I go to the side, it's going to look like this. On the tip, flat. When I flatten the finger, it mutes the one above, so I don't get any bleed from that. Same principle applies if we have three fingers, only now three strings rather. There's a little extra part, so we go tip, flat, hinge. So this takes a little bit of getting used to. Tip, flat, hinge. And what that means is you can hear that every time I move to a new string, it's dampening the sound of the string before, and this is what we want. So that when you go fast, we can't hear anything. So I'm just going to show you that from the side. Tip, flat, hinge. Tip, flat, hinge. And so the last movement, I'm just hinging my hand a little bit. If it was the other way, and then if I add the last note of that arpeggio, you're going to have... and we're not going to have any bleeding. But the way to do this is to do it really slowly. Tip, flat, hinge. And it's the same the other way around. So if I was going the other way around, there's that hinge, and then I'm going onto the tip for the last one. Once you've trained that movement, any little buzzing will disappear. So that's it. When you're doing other kinds of shapes, you might need this. You might do the major arpeggio. Whoops. It's going to be hinging over two, but it's still going to be there. So there's going to be a bunch of different places where this rolling motion is going to be necessary. Also, when you're doing later on, if you're going to be doing an arpeggio that requires rolling with a middle finger, something like, for example, a D major. Later on, when it comes to larger arpeggio shapes, same principle is going to apply. It's going to be tip, flat, hinge.